Welcome to the apocalypse. Here at the end of the world, along the coast, is our home amongst the wasteland. And together with my small group of survivors, we intend to bring together as many characters as we can find from outside our walls. From tailors to traders, from farmers to fighters. So together, we can simulate what life would be like after the world was lost. This is the story of Project Zomboid's safest civilization. Now, this civilization would face many challenges, from the walking dead to those who still lived amongst them. And even worse, a torrential blizzard, threatening all life remaining. But you'll have to stay tuned and watch this epic narrative spanning hundreds of days unfold in front of you. And if you enjoy, join my Discord. But it's not all doom and gloom just yet, because in the beginning, there was just 4 of us in a makeshift home before our civilization was born. In all honesty, my most urgent task at this point in time was preparing this fortress for civilization to be reborn. Having just cleared a giant horde, I spent precious hours loading the human meatballs onto my trolley. We were desperate to survive, but we weren't savages, and the smell of rotting flesh didn't exactly take my fancy. And to be completely honest, being amongst it for so long had a strange effect on all of us, to say the least.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
Hey.
Hey.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
This is half of the motley crew I was talking about. This is Mr. Brollow and Peaches. And since this is the beginning of a new journey for us, while I clean the corpses and tend to the farm, let me bring you up to speed. Brollow was an experienced survivor, a carpenter. What he lacked in technical knowledge, he made up for in brawn. Yeah, he was pretty ripped. And on the flip side, that was Peaches. Peaches was my protege. When we set out on this journey, he had little to no knowledge of the apocalypse. I had been fighting along his side for the best part of 50 days, training him, nurturing his skills. Our friendship was stronger than ever.
I hope they don't find us. I hope they fucking die, because it'll be more peaceful than spending it here with you.
Oh, no need. No need. Okay, it had taken some hits, but the apocalypse had been hard on all of us. As the months had carried on, it seemed to get colder and colder, but this home was livable, certainly more so than the wastes outside our walls. We had sent out a large-scale radio call to survivors across the world, and we had hoped that in time, some of them would find their way to us. So as a unit, we worked to prepare for an influx of numbers. Since I was something of a mechanic, I spent time ripping apart vehicles, as a way to gain more experience in mechanics, but also to collect parts for our primary vehicles. As a mechanic, building a fleet of rolling death machines was an extremely exciting goal, and it was something that I would follow through with over the growth of this civilization. After ripping apart numerous vehicles, I spent some time pretending to organize my dropped parts. Living with other survivors was as much about compromising on your lifestyle as it was about living within your means. And we had a serial organizer on the ship who got extremely cranky when he found loopholes.
One thing I can teach you, Peaches, is that if you leave only a little bit on the floor, you won't tick off Brollow. Like, just leave a few things every now and then to get rid of your stuff, and he'll clean it for you. But if you leave a lot, you're fucked.
And as I dig into a delicious stew, I should probably talk about our head chef. This is Cheese. We had run into Cheese on a looting run past a nearby warehouse, and he was something of a culinary mastermind, keeping our bellies full and our morale high. But Chef Cheese had run into a limitation, and that would set one of our first goals in motion.
Hey, we need a lot of seasonings, because if I'm gonna be making potato-based foods, I need seasonings, because that's the only way to stop the meal from being shitty.
Heard, Chef?
Now, food in our local area was all but exhausted. We were pretty much living off our own produce, which was sustainable, but without calories, these cabbages and potatoes were hardly keeping us alive. We were dropping weight dangerously fast. And that's not even to mention the taste, which was at best appalling. And that led us to a bit of a dangerous situation. We spent a few days funneling through pretty much any remaining source of calories in the nearby areas. In the town nearby, we found a few bits and pieces within the food stalls, but it was nowhere near enough to support a growing number of people. And as an added bonus, we roused up quite the horde of undead to attention in the process. Rallied hordes of the undead were commonplace here. Insane zombies was pretty much 4 times as many of these grotty gremlins as usual. And at this point, we found ourselves following the cycle of life and death. They grew in numbers, we lowered their numbers, so on and so forth. But our civilization was small. As more and more sets of hands joined our cause, this tired routine would perhaps alleviate, and we could look forward to a brighter future. Our first large adventure was ahead, because with the limited food stocks we had available to us, particularly those with substantial carbs and calories, a trip outside our shipping port was on the horizon. And we had a goal in mind. By following the highway to the west, as dangerous as it may be, we would be able to find our way to West Point, a largely unlooted location with plenty of food supplies. Not only that, but we had secretly hoped that by traveling to a nearby town, we may be able to find leftover survivors and aid them in returning to our safe haven to become part of our civilization at the end of the world. So we set out the groundworks for the path ahead. I hopped on the radio and sent out another call. Survivors of West Point, those of us surviving here on the coast will come soon with a convoy. If you can find your way to the supermarket on the edge of the town, we will try and help you. Our next goal was ahead of us, but we had a little bit of work to do before then. In many ways, we were still clearing the remainder of the town nearby of loot. We spent time clearing trees, checking warehouses, garages and the like, making sure we'd found every last bit of valuable stuff within. Now that I had expertise in mechanics and electrical, I'd gained the ability to hotwire cars. So I used this white car I found in the front of the garage and loaded up as many vehicle parts as I could, lugging them back to base. Since we were preparing to kit this place out to its maximum potential, as the one member of our motley crew with metalworking skills, I needed to continue to focus on grinding my skills to reach higher and higher levels. Fortunately, near the entrance of our larger area were a number of car wrecks, which accompanied by the collection of books we'd acquired, made leveling up my metalworking relatively simple. Once again, our area was struck by a large storm. As time passed, these storms became more and more frequent. The weather was undoubtedly getting worse, and beyond what you'd normally expect for this time of year. In addition, the cold front was starting to come through in the months leading to winter, making our challenges all the more arduous. To give a bit of background on the state of our ocean base, inside the ship we had hollowed the walls of this cruiser to drive cars straight inside. At the building end of the ship, we built an expansive kitchen that our chef Cheese cooked meals inside. Just above was my captain's office. It left a little bit to desire, so I didn't really show it off much, but it's where I stored all the really nice loot to keep it away from these greedy goblins. My faith in them was questionable. But we had planned further expansions. On top of the deck, Brollow had started construction on the main building, which would function as both a storage area and a town hall. With the construction of this space, we were concerned that our solar panels wouldn't be getting as much light. And I don't know enough about solar panels to know if that was actually the case, but nevertheless, Brollow and I worked together to build a new space for the solar panel setup just in front of the town hall. As the storm raged on, we set out to reinstall each of the panels, which was a time-consuming process to say the least. With the new placement, our solar power would cover the section of the boat that the generator didn't reach. I don't want to get stuck into all the chatter about power in the apocalypse, so let's just say we guesstimated that that's how it would work. With our power reinstalled, we were already starting to run low on gas, so Brollow and I headed off to fill up at the gas station within the town.
Says the seat is occupied. Are you in the driver's seat? Wait, are you in the driver's seat or passenger?
I'm just fucking with you.
Fortunately, the gas station here had plenty of gas remaining, so we loaded up each and every gas can and placed them into the truck. While in the area, we checked on our trapping setup on the coast. It was at best ineffective. This was no surprise, this area wasn't exactly optimal for trapping, but since it was so accessible, we thought we'd give it a try. And this again reiterated our need for calories and proteins, our trip to West Point drawing ever closer. On our way home, Brollow and I checked a few warehouses for extra supplies. We hadn't spent a lot of time in the area east of us, so there was certainly more loot to be found, if you wanted to spend the time clearing the Zeds.
There's a sprinter.
Came across a black pickup truck in the car park nearby. Normally, this might not seem like the most obvious necessity, but as veteran survivors would know, just being able to dismantle heavy vehicles like this for parts was essential in repairing our more powerful and important vehicles. These utes classified as heavy class, despite their clear size difference. So with my new hot wiring abilities, I hooked it up with some gas and traversed home by myself. Having seen all the valuables within the warehouses east of us, we made the plan to completely clear house. That is to say, we were going to strip these warehouses to the bone. Unfortunately, that was a plan that relied on us completely eliminating any wandering Zeds. So together with my makeshift Padawan Peaches, we headed over and began the task of taking control of the area.
long as you're always walking backwards and they're always in a line, you're normally okay. But yeah, two-handed weapon will probably make you more comfortable.
This side.
Always focus sprinters if you see them.
The zombies were so large in numbers that I even had to take a trip back home to collect additional ammunition. But finally, after hours, and I don't mean world hours, I mean real life hours that I won't get back, finally we had cleared the place. That left us with plenty of stocks of tools, resources, and the like. With the town and warehouses clear, we could finally draw our eyes to the dangerous task on the horizon. This next chapter wouldn't be filled with twists and turns. And when I say that my life was about to be on the line, I don't say that lightly. Together with my companions, we loaded up the truck and looked to the skies, awaiting the rise of the sun. And hopefully, the dawn of a new day, where we would welcome our first batch of new recruits. By this point in our journey, we had survived for around 70 days. And in those 70 days, we had spent countless hours combating the undead in our area, slowly dwindling their numbers, allowing us some freedom from the fight. On many occasions, the hordes reamassed, and we wiped them again and again. These hordes had taken precious lives from us. But as we survived longer, we survived stronger. But all that work, all those lives lost, and all those hours were meaningless now. We were traveling into unknown roads, away from our safety and into chaos. The roads, as you can tell, were littered by endless Zeds. Hundreds, if not thousands, infested the highway alone. My body tensed up at the sheer sight of them. Knowing that we needed storage for all the food we were hoping to loot meant that we were forced to bring out our large blue truck. But the downside of this was that this truck was not able to traverse at a high enough speed to make this journey comforting. And as you can tell, even my precious Jeep, from all the way back at the beginning of our adventure, had seen better days. With only so many of us inhabiting our ocean village, we didn't have the numbers to be able to loot, farm, cook, and repair cars all at once. We were desperate to find more help. We had hoped that this journey might make that possible. In truth, though, we didn't know how many people awaited us in West Point. We just had to cross our fingers. But that mystery was the next one to be answered.
There's a fucking monster over here.
A monster?
Oh,
Careful,
what the
roadblock
fuck
coming
is
up.
that? Can you explain? Can you fight that thing?
Can you fight it? I don't know. One way to
Follow
find
the
out,
tracks,
bitches.
Hop back on the main road here. Did you want to get anything from there?
No, back up, back up, back up.
Hop up.
There's a car shop up here. Do you want
Hop out, hop out. The car's bugging out, bro.
Not like last time.
Go guns heavy, guns heavy.
Dude, I almost got fucking murdered.
We had come to West Point loaded to the brim with ammunition and guns, everything that we could afford. And that was for a reason, because we knew that going into this town quietly would be a short-lived endeavor. We didn't want to risk the lives of both ourselves and anyone we might find out here. And on top of that, we really didn't know who we might find and how comfortable they might be defending themselves.
Someone here. Wait, who's that?
Someone here?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, over here, over here, over here.
Who's that?
Come over here, come over here.
I'll... Stay behind
There's guns
us,
in the
man.
trunk.
Stay behind us.
You a good man?
Yeah, I'm good.
This is a good truck, or you said it was f***ed up?
It was good when I first got it, and then I might have hit a few zombies.
Brother, we're leaving that one behind.
So we had found our first survivor. His name, Chrono. He didn't exactly paint me as a character who was comfortable with the Zeds around him. That was something I expected. 2 months into the apocalypse, there were certainly going to be survivors who had skated by, playing it safe and living inside homes, like hermits. But that was our role in this narrative. Eventually, these survivors would run out of food and be forced to confront that which they had feared. And sadly, that might be the end for them. We had hoped that we might tip the scales in their favor. After our standoff in the car park of the Gigamart, we cleared through most of the hordes on the outside of town. Though there will be many of them to come, most of the ones we'd attracted towards us had met their untimely demise, or what was left of them at least. We equipped Chrono with a weapon and directed him to our task at hand. He would help us loot the entirety of the supermarket. His confidence left a little bit to be desired, but that was to be expected. We had a simple rule that all of our citizens would follow. Take only what you need and give back what you take. And if Chrono could help us load up whatever we'd need to feed our people, then he was setting out on the right path. As a bonus, we found a large box truck in the Gigamart car park, one that we'd been able to hotwire to take back with us. But that also meant our journey home would be taking another large and slow vehicle. The larger our convoy grew, the more precarious that journey home might be. We just had to be optimistic because we desperately needed this food. The four of us began to unload as much as we could get our hands on. Countless canned goods, seasonings, everything to assist us with the weeks and months to come. With that in mind, I took the Jeep further into West Point, which was a little risky, but I knew that on the corner store, there might be even more food supplies. But more importantly, junk food. After clearing my way in, I feasted on the caloric goodness, eating chips, chocolates, anything that I could get my hands on. I could already feel the effect of it through my body. My stomach filled with that which it had been craving. My will to continue reignited. In dark days such as these, something as simple as the euphoric rush of confectionery is all that you need to truly keep going. Not that it was without its hurdles. With a renewed sense of confidence and energy, I took the Jeep around the town, searching for wayward survivors and signs of life. But I was hit with a slow but sinking feeling. As I drove further and further, I saw less and less. I imagined that when we had arrived in West Point, we might find groups of survivors, families, people who had found a way to keep on keeping on. But all I saw was the undead. Tens, hundreds. This town was a wasteland, a distant memory of civilization. If this is what became of a place, once well stocked and secure, what difference would our efforts make in the grand scheme of this world? Could we truly overcome the inevitable demise that had met all these poor citizens? Making my way back to the town center, we located a hardware store, hoping that we might find some trolleys to assist us with looting. Despite our abundance of them at our ocean village, we hadn't remembered to bring any with us. The stress of the apocalypse had obviously taken its toll. That was our excuse, at least. Since we'd cleared the main street of West Point, we took the opportunity to check local stores. I checked the bookstore, which might have had one or two magazines we hadn't got our hands on yet. Unfortunately, much of what I found had already been acquired on a previous trip to the bookstore nearby the mall. I checked a nearby kitchen, particularly for lightweight spices that would help get our calorie count up without taking up too much storage space for the trip home. And after checking those two stores, I returned to the group. And Peaches had some news that would lighten the mood a little more.
Just what I was looking for.
Kezza, we found someone.
Who is it?
Yeah, I go by White Wolf. Usually just Wolf is fine.
Hey man, what are you doing out here?
I heard something on the radio about some folks down by the mall, so...
You got a home out here or what?
No, I'm actually from Moldra.
Oh, if you need somewhere to stay, I mean, you can come back with us.
I'm happy to check it out.
White Wolf seemed like a reserved type, though the sheer fact that he had made his way here all the way from Moldra indicated that he at least knew his way around a weapon. In all honesty, given the circumstances we found ourselves in, I didn't have the time or the energy to question the motives of those who would join our cause. We were essentially relying on strangers, people who we didn't know, to support us, defend us, and work with us in trying to create a society of survivors. But it was still nice to see a fresh face, regardless of whether they were trustworthy or not. And White Wolf didn't seem like much of a hero right now, but over the weeks and the months to come, his name would amount to a great many things. But that is your story you'll have to watch unfold as time goes by. Reinforced by the two new survivors we'd encountered, we fought back the hordes within West Point. The more noise we'd made, the more undead would arrive. We worked our way down the street, hoping to find some buildings with medical goods. The first we came across was a dentistry office. Flanked by our new recruits, we gathered outside, but my curiosity was unending, so I ventured within. Had I known the fate that would befall me inside, I might have chosen a different path. But my entire journey up until now had led me here, to this very building inside West Point. It's funny how the most insignificant things can sometimes lead to the most significant
I just had a
outcomes.
buddy back here, that's all. Oh my god. Help! 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 Help!
You remember what I said a few moments ago? That this survivor who we barely knew would amount to a great many things? Well, inside that corridor when my death was inevitable, and I was counting the very moments I had left, White Wolf threw himself at the horde. He put his life on the line for me. He saved me from certain death. At the time, I barely noticed it. With panic in my mind, I focused only on escaping, but looking back, that single moment may well have defined the survival of our entire civilization. I hadn't escaped unscathed. My clothing and armor was torn, The undead had injured both of my arms, rendering me partially useless in melee confrontations, but I was alive. I was alive because of one survivor who I barely even knew. And having been shocked back into reality, we decided it was time to leave West Point and return home. Our trucks were full to the brim with food, loot, and the like. But with all these cars in our convoy, the road home posed a great issue. As each car would pass through a space in the horde, the remaining Zeds would close in, chasing the sounds of the engines as they pass. And normally this is manageable, but with insane zombies, that problem becomes an even larger one. Ironically enough, the biggest problem wasn't the large trucks, because they were relatively unscathed. The biggest problem was my precious Jeep that we had acquired right at the beginning of this journey, because on the trip over, this thing had been even more banged up, meaning it had begun to stall on the road. And stalling on a highway might as well be certain death. But between the group of us, only 3 of us knew the way home. And between the 3 of us, I was by far the most comfortable behind the wheel of this Jeep, having driven it for most of the time we've been alive out here. So I allocated everyone out to the other vehicles and sat down behind the wheel of my old faithful, knowing that if I was going to go out, I'd want to go out rolling down the road in the very car I'd commandeered right at the start of this adventure.
Go through.
We're just going straight for a while.
Okay, we're just gonna have to run it. You hit a few. Listen, White Wolf, Peaches, it's a straight shot from here all the way home. You follow the highway all the way home, okay, and then turn left, and then you'll go straight into the compound. Peaches, you lead. I'm gonna go at the back. If anybody gets stuck, I'm gonna try and pick them up, okay?
Okay,
Copy that.
Go around them, yeah.
I know, I'm taking it nice and easy. We're almost home, but we're almost home, man. Yeah, both our cars are almost home.
Yeah, mine too, actually. Mine just stalled. It's pretty fun, isn't it? Go hard right, yeah. You're a good White Wolf. You can tank it if you need to. Holy shit. My car stalled! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am should not be alive. Go. You're good. Go. You're good. Go, you got this. I need you to go as fast as you can. My car's dying. Right up here. Keep going. Turn to the right here. Oh my god, you have no idea.
Nope, we did it.
Oh my god.
If the scope of the apocalypse was not apparent by this point, the scenes of this highway should make it abundantly clear. Though we fought day in and day out to keep our settlement clear, beyond the outer walls lay an insurmountable opposition. If the thousands, if not millions of zombies weren't enough, in the weeks to come we would face even more challenges. As the cold front neared our coast, we moved about to scavenge more frequently. And as we moved about more, we'd continue to draw more attention from any other survivors out there, for better or for worse. Now that we'd arrived home, we took the chance to give our new friends a tour of our base. It was an opportunity for us to make them comfortable, but at the same time, we got to get a feel for who these people really were.
So, welcome to the village. There's some stuff in the boxes here, but to be honest, there's a lot more stuff around the shipping yard that we just haven't had the time to collect. I'm hoping you guys can contribute and, you know, find your little niche in this village and become part of our team. I mean, do you guys have any particular skill sets?
And
cutting it a lot, man.
my strengths probably lie in foraging and sneaking, laying low and bapping them over the head.
Okay.
No, maybe since you like to forage and stay low, we need someone tailoring. Someone who's a doctor would be great as well. But there's all different things we can do. I mean, I'm the carpenter.
Our initial impressions were pretty accurate, and both of them were pretty quiet, but that was to be expected. After the Nox virus had broken out, most of the people left had lost a lot. These people as much as any others. But we didn't have a lot of time to concern ourselves with feelings. We had to continue moving forward, regardless of all the noise. As our new companions melded with the team, I spent some time farming. Now, normally, this was not something I had to assist with, but we had a member of our group that I haven't introduced you to just yet, who had left on a long journey across the wasteland in search of more survivors to bring home. That person's name was Fishdoor. He was our resident farmer, and you might ask yourself, why of all people we asked Fishdoor to go out and search for people? But the most honest answer is that he was simply the most experienced person in our group. And since it was pretty easy to level up farming, we had made easy work of covering his workload while he was gone. In truth, we did worry every now and then that he wouldn't return, but I had seen Fishdoor overcome greater challenges in the past, so we just had faith in his abilities and kept on keeping on. On the 22nd of September, we faced a random horde that had moved into the area. But behind these reinforced walls that Mr. Brollow had built for us, we made quick work of the group of them. Honestly, the biggest risk with a horde that size was me trying to climb over this damn wall without getting hurt, which of course I did, but it was a minor scratch, so it'd heal up in short time anyway. With our 2 new sets of hands, we started to clear out the remaining loot from the shipping yard. This place had valuables in pretty much everywhere you didn't think to look, from inside shipping containers to in each individual building. And given that we were hoping to see more fresh faces soon, getting this stuff back to the cruiser base was gonna help a hell of a lot with getting people geared up and ready to assist on further exploring or looting runs. I took Chrono to assist me in emptying out some of the abandoned shipping containers, which contained a heap of ammunition and medical supplies. Between the two of us, we worked through the essentials, grabbing extra weaponry for Chrono to equip to keep himself safe. And as if we were starting to have a bad run of luck, another horde confronted our walls. So with our firepower and numbers, we were able to hold this one off also. The work to unload from the giant trip to West Point had begun, and we're still in the process. Endless cans of food, spices, and the like, all unloaded into the kitchen for our chef Cheese to begin sorting and preparing meals with. If it wasn't already apparent, we had brought back a lot of stuff from our trip, as was our intention. But even though this seemed like a lot, when you start to add more and more people into your community, food dwindles in greater and greater quantities. After waking up from a long nap, we took the time to present our chef with the spoils of our West Point run. But even despite all of this food, our hard work on the turbulent journey, the countless days we spent away from home and lugging everything back, Cheese was still unhappy.
Why don't you go take a look at your kitchen for a sec?
Pick us up something. What do you say?
For you.
Oh, I'd love something to eat.
What is this? Oh my god. Oh my
Yes, so we've been busy.
God. Please tell me there's a saucepan sitting.
That's his first thing he says.
Oh god. Oh no. Okay, so it's the big, it's like, it looks like a normal cooking pot that like has
Did
like
you?
20
I must be confused, bro. I'm pretty sure he walked in here and just asked for something without even knowing what was here, and he just completely ignored all the work we'd done.
This is
He just
though.
immediately was like, "Yeah, but did you get the one thing I wanted?" Like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You guys almost died.
It's because the saucepan is so elusive, dude. I don't know how no one has found it yet.
And since apparently this elusive saucepan was essential to our weight gain, through gritted teeth, I immediately began the search for one. Because I guess with all that food, our Michelin star chef couldn't whip up anything with a fry pan, a roasting pan, or the like. He needed a saucepan, which was going to be extremely difficult to track. To actually just found one in the closest kitchen to our base. Come here. Here's your stupid saucepan, okay? Given that we had so much fresh produce available, we still tried to use as much as possible. Those of us who had been starting to turn into skin and bone had finally started to put some weight on our bodies. I was bordering on just being underweight, which was a welcome change and certainly helped with my melee abilities, especially with the wounds of my West Point encounter still being fresh. With a traumatic journey in our rearview mirror, I decided to apply myself to a task that was a little bit less stressful. I began to tear down some of the fixtures and walls for my captain's office. Though building your space in the apocalypse may seem frivolous, it is in some ways the small things that can make the biggest difference. We live in an endless war against the undead, but also with ourselves. Choosing to keep going was one of the hardest wars there was. So taking the time to enjoy the finer things in life and focus on your happiness was important. Though this space still left a great deal to be desired, it was progress for now, and it was something I'd come back to later in our adventure. Having acquired some extra hardware in the West Point hardware store, I was able to install a few more solar panels to our collection, enough so that our solar power was now providing comfortably for the town hall and storage area. And on the 25th of September, we were about to welcome the first traveller to our coastal home, because someone, through perseverance, had made their way alone to our secure walls.
Someone outside? Hey man, come in, come in. Welcome to our little sanctuary.
Much better than what I had going. I barely made it here in one piece.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty out there, man. Weather's getting bad. Well, listen, I mean, if you want somewhere safe to stay, you're welcome to stay here. You just got to contribute, you know, do your part.
Yeah, of course.
Well, look, let me show you around, okay?
Banana Man was pretty kitted up when he arrived at our gates. I had to assume he knew his way around the wastelands if he was able to find his way here alone. That was an assumption that would be proven more true as time went on. I took Banana Man to meet Cheese, though it became clear through our discussion that Cheese was less aware of his surroundings than most.
Hey, we got a new survivor, Chef.
Hello.
Oh, hello there, Banana Man. And I don't think I've noticed White Wolf either.
Hey.
White Wolf's been here a while, but are you okay, Chef?
Sorry, I've been wearing this armor for too long. It's sweaty. I'm
Yeah,
hot.
you need to take. Why are you wearing that?
I don't know.
With things now settled down at the cruiser, I took time to start back on our collection of cars. As the group's resident mechanic, though it wasn't the most entertaining task, I was the one in charge of repairing, upgrading, and dismantling vehicles that came through our gates. And I was getting to be a pretty damn good mechanic, so I'd started the process of trying to get parts to bring our main vehicles not only back to their former glory, but developed into apocalypse survival machines. But this involved many sleepless nights, removing parts, unloading trunks, shifting huge wheels around in our workshop. The space was growing more and more cluttered, but it was my space, so I didn't really care. Enter the garage at your own risk was my mantra.
Bro, your garage is a fucking spider web, bro. What the hell is going on in here?
It's the only way I can do this efficiently. I have to literally dismantle it and drop it like right where I dismantle it.
I'm glad at least you have your own space.
After many hours of working in my garage, Brollow returned home from a trip to collect timber with someone in tow. I had mentioned that it was time for our civilization to expand, and already that was coming to pass.
Found someone out there.
Sure did.
Hello.
Hey man, how you doing?
Pretty good. Kinda sad, but I'm here.
You survived, right? We're all surviving out here.
Are you the leader around here?
You know what? I like to think we're all equals, but yes, I'm the leader. But other than that,
Our greeting was interrupted, since the undead hordes don't seem to care for the finer things in life. But after we'd cleared the masses, we spent some time showing Soldier around, like all our other arrivals. Soldier was a pretty straightforward kind of guy. After getting his bearings, he headed out to assist us with another one of our long-term goals. Further up the road from the entrance of our shipping yard was the LV military checkpoint, but between here and there was a huge amount of car wrecks, a few huge hordes, and some barricades and trees. Soldier had taken it upon himself to spend his time trying to clear this path, which, while it might take a while to come to fruition, could help us a huge amount in the long run. While it might have been nice to have an extra body around our base, in truth, our tasks were so far-reaching and expansive that we honestly couldn't afford to keep everyone at home. So when he suggested working on something that we hadn't been able to get to, we had no issue providing him with food, water, and everything he needed to get a start on it. What we didn't expect is that en route to his task, he had come across another survivor seeking shelter. He just failed to mention that to us on the way home.
That's me.
whoa, hold it. Whoa.
Who the heck is this guy?
You just bringing people into our kitchen now? Who is this guy?
I thought I'd just show him around.
Well, I'll help any way I can. I know a little bit about fixing up clothes. Know a little bit about shooting guns.
Oh, that's
A
good.
little bit about working some metal too. I see we may have that in common.
Now this stranger, who went by the name Mr. K, was a tailor by trade. It may not come as a surprise to you, but our clothing had seen better days. So to have an expert and a new skill set come strolling into our home like this was a little disconcerting, but a huge upgrade nonetheless. If it wasn't apparent by now, our radio call out to survivors a few weeks back had started to finally provide dividends. Obviously, once the call had gone out, it had taken people a few weeks just to make the trip. But now, after some time had passed, passed, our compound entrance started to look more like a revolving door. In a short space of time, I had walked around our base more times for tours than I had ever walked around it before. To be honest, I was starting to get a little tired of walking around the base in general, but we had to hold fort to wait for Fish Store to return, for survivors to arrive. We couldn't afford to be away from home if people needed a safe haven. So waiting around is exactly what we did, for a short while at least. While I worked away in our garage, Brollow built our town hall. Cheese prepared some fine meals, and our new survivors all played their part. Soldier would clear the pathway to the military checkpoint, Mr. K and White Wolf would repair our clothing, patching it for the wars ahead, Banana Man built his metalworking skills to help me with mechanics tasks, and Peaches, my Project Zomboid Padawan, he just did everything. Because my mentality was that to teach him how to survive, he'd need to become a jack of all trades rather than a master of one. By the time we got to October, the weather worsened still. On the one hand, our farm was nurtured by plenty of water, but this was countered by the terrible mood it put everyone in. The temperatures had begun to drop as we headed towards the winter season. I had to spend a lot of time helping with the farming since Fish Store still hadn't returned home. And with winter coming, rain would turn to snow, which was far less useful in watering our crops. So farming is what I did. I checked the crops, nurtured them, harvested as much as we could. Our plethora of food options from the farm had been narrowed down to just 2 key crops, potatoes and cabbages. We wanted to focus on some more hardy foods to bulk up our food stores. And to be completely honest, I didn't have the expertise with farming to know what the best options were. But fortunately for us, we were about to experience a change in fates, with the sound of an engine at our front gates.
Wait, fish? Fish Store.
Hello. I got an anonymous tip. An old friend of mine told me someone I love dearly, my brother, might have been alive, but...
I'm just happy you're alive, man. We've had a few new people join. I mean, a lot's changed since you've been gone. Oh, hey, White Wolf. Hey, this is Fish Store. We thought he was dead, but I mean, clearly he is not dead.
Hello.
Well, I'm glad that you're not dead. That sounds nice.
How many people are here now? Like, how many? Because obviously we have new survivors.
6 or 7, I guess.
You guys are really making this since the civilization.
We're trying, man.
Shortly following Fish Store's return, we faced a wandering horde at our front gates, but we managed to make light work of them. My skills with a rifle had reached the point that I could confidently defend from any nearby groups with ease. The constant threat of sprinters, or worse things, didn't waver, so we had to keep on our toes. Since Fish Store was back home safe, I was able to redirect my focus back to other key goals that I had in mind, while he would take over the farming. Alongside my journey to create the ultimate carcinal, patent pending, I took some time to pick up a multitude of crates from the shipping containers in front of our base. Because if I was being honest with myself, the state of the garage was getting a little out of hand. Even I could admit that. While I was collecting some crates, I picked up a heap of leftover gear that hadn't yet been scavenged. Some armor, some medical supplies, pretty much anything I thought might come in handy in the future. With the minor carpentry skills I did have, I was able to place down a wall of crates within the garage, and started making sense of all the horrid mess on the ground. If only to bring peace to the mind of Mr. Brollow. And after spending hours and hours funneling through this stuff, a call came over the radio that was not part of the plan.
Yeah, I will.
Yo guys, I'm limping out by the car wrecks.
Are you okay?
The horde on me. Soldier, he just died. He ran into the horde.
What the fuck?
Get him.
Go out to the gates, the gates. Everyone. What happened?
We a horde, a bunch of them just came out of nowhere.
What happened to Soldier?
Oh, he ran into the horde. I was trying to get away.
He ran into them?
I mean,
did you see him die?
Despite what Banana Man had said, we held on to hope that we might yet find Soldier alive. We searched everywhere for proof otherwise. Up and down the road, I searched nearby warehouses to find any sign of him, but try as we might, we couldn't locate a trace of him. So we continued to believe, calling out to him, searching anywhere he might have run for safety. And on a trip back home, we finally found him. What was left of him, at least.
Yes.
Yeah, it's him.
We should take him back and bury him.
Yeah.
Now, I recognize that for those of you witnessing our story, this level of emotion may seem exaggerated at best, but for all of you, our time with Soldier had begun and ended in just a matter of minutes. For us, this had been several weeks alongside him. Hours and hours of working together, chatting, catching up, checking in, and all of that was lost in a single moment of indecision outside the walls. We couldn't do much for Soldier now, but at the very least, we could take his body and give him a proper burial on the coast besides our home. It wasn't perfect, but it was the closest thing we had to nature without risking the lives of the rest of us.
Not everyone knew Soldier that well. Some of us haven't been around. One thing I'll say about Soldier is he just got the job done. We've lost a lot of people on this journey, and hopefully this will be the last.
He was a brave man, and we will forever remember him for that.
Soldier, I didn't know you very long. You're very kind and appreciated all the cooking I did for you.
Came to help him clear the hordes, and when they overran us, he ran in and he bought me some very valuable time.
Soldier's death was a sobering loss. Yes, a large group of us remained, but these were people who had risked everything to get to us, and we had let them down. Part of me felt responsible, letting Soldier go out there with little backup, letting him travel so far from home, but trust is all we had out here, and we had trusted him to keep himself safe. Those next days and hours, sorting through car parts, resources, it all felt a little bit more shallow. My mind processed everything that had played out, how things could have gone differently. But after a lot of time mulling things over, I turned my eyes back forward. What this civilization needed was perseverance, and we couldn't let one loss burn our belief in building a village for those who remained. Once the garage was finally clean, we headed upstairs to share a meal with those of us around. Our original group stayed strong and true, and we still had several newcomers who were a part of our civilization. This short respite from the darkness outside was comforting, but the darkness was still there. And in the coming days, we would confront it in more than one way. As new faces flooded the walls of our ocean base, we looked to the future. What was next for us? First, we wanted to work our way to the Gigamart southeast of us, to gather extra supplies and hopefully set up a marker on the roof if there's ever a chance to escape from this place. Since it was the biggest landmark in the area, this would be our best hope for finding a permanent way out if the weather got so bad that it was unlivable out here. We hoped that it wouldn't get to that point, but in truth, with temperatures venturing to freezing of late, that was a very real concern. And finding an escape wasn't a guarantee either if that did happen. But if it was a possibility, a sign left on top of that mall would be the key. Secondly, I needed to follow through on my promise of gearing our vehicles up for all out war. I had repaired them a large amount, but now I had the chance to use all those resources we'd been collecting to armor them up for the trips to come. And both of these things were in the plans, but all the while, we expected more travelers heading our way soon. Our numbers would continue to expand and grow, and we had to keep facilitating that as much as possible. On the 13th of October, however, I focused myself on the second plan I had mentioned. With the plethora of metalworking resources and the skills I'd accumulated, I turned my little Jeep, the one that I had found on week 1 of this journey with a now fallen friend, into an apocalypse machine. On the hood, I added metal armor to protect it from zombies ahead. On the windows, I added metal shutters to keep the undead from breaking through. Even the front and rear windshield I would reinforce to withstand all the horrid weather to come. And I can't overstate how much of a difference this made. In the days and weeks to come, this little Jeep would prove to be a wasteland warrior, overcoming all the odds and plowing through the rotted corpses like it was built for it. This was one of the best decisions I would make in this adventure. Though I didn't have the resources to do the same for all of our cars, I begun to tear apart any excess heavy vehicles we had around so that I could work on the blue truck that we had used for a while. Over the course of the few days I worked on this truck, we had several new arrivals to our civilization. As the community began to scale in numbers, it'll be hard for me to give everyone the focus they deserve. Everyone contributed to this story, but our numbers would grow far beyond what I first imagined. As we welcomed more and more people into the walls, our civilization started a shift from a dream into a reality. And by the time the truck was complete, I felt a renewed sense of hope. Like the Jeep, this truck was sealed at every entrance. Windows, windshield, a bumper on the front, a roof rack for extra storage. A true unit. This was the momentum we needed, the guiding light to push us forward. We were starting to accomplish things we had set out to do. More and more survivors found their way to our walls. Our numbers climbed into the double digits, each with their own strengths to add to the cause. We had doctors, carpenters, welders joining our ranks, making projects we hadn't been able to get to a reality. Although our time here did not come without its casualties. It was just fortunate that those casualties were not our people. On the 17th of October, we decided to have some fun and dye our hair, and we took our eyes off the ball for just a moment. That didn't exactly work out for us.
Look at us, we're like the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Alright,
Oh,
fine. You want
sweet.
me
That
to-
means I'm
Why is the
buttercup.
generator on fire?
What? Ah! What's happening? Someone put it out!
I don't know how to put it out.
Oh! Oh my god!
Extinguish it, extinguish it.
Oh, there, I got it. I got it.
Holy shit, what the fuck?
Bro. What?
I think it might have been too low durability.
That was the day I learnt about generators having durability. And that was also the day I learnt about how ridiculously long it took for burned arms to heal. This was an injury that I would carry with me for weeks. But it was times like this we were just happy to be alive. We didn't want to lose any more people. So despite our highs being cancelled out by some of our lows, we managed to keep on moving forward. As I've mentioned a few times, moving forward was all we had to do. Onwards and upwards, as they say. We gathered those of us who were at the base to discuss our plans and our next movements.
Okay, first off, I want to address the elephant in the room. Before, about an hour ago, we thought it would be a fun idea for all of us to dye our hair. At the time, it was all fun and games, and then during our dyeing session, the generator blew up and set fire to the deck. I have not yet had time to remove the dye from my hair, so I just wanted nobody to comment about it, please. So we just need to move on from it, and let's not talk about it, okay?
Hey, Kezza, can I say one thing? Can I say one thing?
Sure, man.
I'm blue and down.
Look, you have arrived. This is our village. This is our little home, you know, on the ocean here. We need to clear out the mall because we want to get a lot of the resources within. That's going to be a big job, so hopefully everyone can kit up and have enough stuff. But we're going to have to clear it out, which means we're going to need a lot of ammo.
But we have a lot. There's not a whole lot of ammo to really go around at the moment.
So with the long-term goal of overcoming the large mall nearby, we had to prepare ourselves as best as possible. But what did that entail exactly? Well, first of all, we needed a lot more guns and ammunition to take on the masses of undead that littered the roads to the mall itself. Fortunately, our pathway to a lot of guns and ammunition had partially been cleared by our deceased friend Soldier. It wasn't completely clear, but it was clear enough that through a narrow pathway, we could make our way inside. So that is exactly what we did. Flanked by a large group of our survivors, we took the truck and the jeep to the military checkpoint. And what would normally take me alone several days to do was light work for our community of people. We opened containers, cleared tents, eliminated any undead threat remaining, and loaded up numerous crates full of armor, ammunition, and weaponry that would help us further our goals. While our main team continued to clear out what was left of the military encampment, I made my way beyond the gates on the other side and found a giant trailer that would fit even more of the loot inside the checkpoint. We parked it up and continued to load even more clothing and armor into it. This armored truck that I had worked tirelessly on building was insanely valuable. Not only did it hold hundreds of units of storage in the trunk, but it had a roof rack that fit over 100 units in addition. And with the trailer attached to the back, we could fit even more. This thing was a beast when it came to lugging loot around. In all honesty, it was one of the most redeeming feelings, seeing all my hard work come to fruition. But this trip to the military area was not all fun and games, because it was also the moment we noticed trouble that had been brewing for quite a while. Amidst our runs back and forth, we began to notice the cold breeze and the white flakes of icy snow in the air. This was, as we had feared, the beginning of winter. Certainly sooner than we had hoped. With our numbers growing substantially, losing the quality of our farming produce would be a huge hit. While it's possible to farm in the winter, the cold would make the strength and quality of our crops significantly diminished. With both cars loaded full of loot, we returned home to the cruiser, where fortunately the storm had not yet arrived, though we knew it would only be a matter of time. In many ways, surviving out here in this civilization felt like it ran on a constant timer. When we would overcome one challenge, we'd be faced with a second, then a third, so on and so forth. But this was never designed to be easy, to say the least. We still found time to enjoy the finer things. While Brollow laid the carpet on our town hall, we danced together. It was a form of joy, though fleeting, that kept us focused on our goals. But as suspected, the cold front would begin to make its way to our walls. We felt for a moment like we could overcome any challenge ahead of us. But the mall was no small challenge, as we would come to find out. As hours blended into days and days blended into weeks, we prepared for the great journey. We looted all that was left within the warehouses just outside the walls, clearing them of any materials that may yet come in handy. Hardware warehouses, metalworking warehouses, anything that was there, we ripped clean for all it was worth. Brollow made great progress on our town hall. Building a large bar with stools, he built a homely area for our fireplace where we could come together and grow warm in the winter. I reinforced our vehicles once again for the trek to the mall. Our extra numbers worked to loot nearby areas and build their skills. Our tailors were tailoring, our chefs were preparing meals for the masses, soups and stews to fill the bellies of our growing village. The snow grew, covering more and more of the surfaces that remained. The temperatures dropped to freezing. The weather was doing us no favors, but we persevered nonetheless. On the 30th of October, I used all my metalworking skills to practice a bit of plumbing in the base. We installed a new water pump in the ocean, which would pump water to a sink downstairs, and to a new washer-dryer that I had uncovered on one of our looting runs earlier. The skills that I'd acquired over my time here were useful for a great many things, if it wasn't apparent. On the 31st, we returned as a group to the warehouse on the edge of our area to check it for any resources that might be of use. I hadn't visited this warehouse in a long time, not since this area was flooded with undead, so it was nice to be here with a slightly different vibe. One of progress and not just surviving as best we could. Together with the numbers of survivors we could muster, we loaded up the truck. Our beautiful blue truck that I had reinforced. It was one of our closest companions. In a way, it was in and of itself a member of our civilization. This blue truck that I called Carl. Carl was a quiet type. He only knew the working life. He never got to experience the joys of a peaceful land, where happiness surfaced and the sun shined each and every day. If it wasn't obvious, surviving out here for this long had started to get to me. I saw cars as people and people as ghosts. Insanity was just a distraction though. I had to serve my purpose as the captain of the ship, the leader of this society. The burden was great, almost too great for one person to hold. I was fortunate to be flanked by my core group, Peaches, Fish Store, Mr Brollow, and Cheese, our pillars of civilization, each leading their respective teams of skilled survivors towards our multitude of goals. The hordes grew in numbers. Though they were still outgunned, we feared that if they continued to grow in this vein, they may yet breach the walls that we had built long ago. These random hordes would continuously grow the longer we remained out here in the wasteland, making ammunition an ongoing challenge. Fortunately, we still had plenty of supplies from our checkpoint run to keep us going for now. As we entered November, I used my rudimentary plumbing skills to plumb a water line to our farm. It wasn't fully functional yet, but in the long run, it would provide a steady stream of water to our crops, something that would be essential in long-term survival out here. After a long break between arrivals, I finally heard the call of Cheese with some survivors joining our cause.
Well, you guys have picked some weird timing. We just had to have a big meeting. Look, you're welcome to join us here. I should let you know, like I let everyone know, if you guys are going to join us, you put in what you take out, right? You got to contribute to the village, help the people here, and we will help you in return.
And Brollow was nearing completion of his second floor, so we gathered everyone together to discuss the next steps.
Well, look, welcome to our new survivors, Valkyrie and Sumo. A lot of people have been asking about our next big goal. I think it's time. I think we're ready, and we can benefit a lot from clearing out that mall. This is going to be an everyone kind of thing. I'm going to need literally everyone, from the chefs to the doctors, to the gatherers, to the carpenters. Every single body we have is going to be important.
So after weeks and weeks of preparing, the time had finally come. We had enough numbers for the challenge ahead, but how we approached this challenge and how it would play out was shocking, to say the least. The goal, as I've mentioned before, was simple. Reclaim the road to the mall, take control of the mall itself, and leave a sign on the roof for anyone who remained to find us. But this was no small feat. Before I could send our people out to war against the undead, I wanted to see for myself what this road and the challenges beyond it were. So for the first time in months, I traversed past the walls and scouted ahead. But this scouting mission was an eye-opening encounter.
Kezza, are you on the radio?
Yep.
Alright, well, we just sent people out with the baked potatoes that you missed, so bring it.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's not so nice out here, actually, would you believe?
Yeah, it's usually not.
Oh my god. Oh.
They already left, so just be careful when you're driving. I don't think we can do much. Sorry.
I cannot stress enough how many times I would have died in this journey without Carl, my trusty blue truck. We mowed again and again through countless undead. They stormed down the roads towards me, closing the spaces, eliminating escape routes. But we pushed through, again and again. The durability of this beast unmatched. The hood unscathed underneath the metal protection I'd installed. This behemoth saved my life on more than one occasion. Fortunately, I survived this trip from hell, but it was a sobering realization that the feat of making our way through to the mall was even larger than I'd anticipated. So we had to make a decision. There are two ways to approach a congested road like this. The first, and far more risky way, is that you push through with several vehicles and try and mow down any ahead of you, at the risk of getting caught in a smothering group. But with only 2 vehicles prepared for that kind of encounter, we were extremely hesitant in trying that, not even accounting for the fact that both our number of survivors would be limited by the seats, and it would still be a toss of the coin if we survived the whole way through. But option 2 was an arduous task, taking any numbers we had and slowly clearing our way through section by section, an ongoing war against the endless undead. But it was the only option that wouldn't have us risking our lives so aggressively. So we settled on this being the path forward. On the 5th of November, we set forth on this mammoth undertaking, working our way down the highway with our strongest fighters. But this was a tiring fight, and with the more and more numbers we threw at it, it became more and more convoluted. With this many Zeds against us, not only will we be at risk of a sprinter coming out of nowhere, but factors that we can't control like lag, performance, and frankly confusion were a huge risk. Just being able to tell at a glance what was a Zed and what was a survivor was a real problem. And as we confronted this issue more and more, those who were skilled with a weapon in hand knew to work off small groups of their own. But those who were less comfortable swarmed together, creating chaos and confusion, leaving room for mistakes and misunderstandings. As I took a group of my own, I took my eyes off the group. I trusted my people to be safe, to protect one another. I let go of control. I put faith in our civilization. I made a mistake that I would regret for the rest of my life.
Uh-oh. I don't like that sound.
Something most survivors will tell you is that when you see a Zed covered in armor like I did, it's never a good sign. But it's not until you put it down that you can tell the full story. It's not until you shuffle through its belongings that you find out if it's friend or foe.
Fish door! No! What the
What was it? What'd you do?
What happened? Oh my god, Fish store!
When Fishdoor fell to the undead, I wasn't there to help him. And every other member of our core group was asleep. To think that my friend, who I'd fought alongside for over 100 days, was gone. To think that he had died to something so stupid, so meaningless, a simple running of a road. This feeling, this was Project Zomboid. Because life here is truly fragile. One bite, one scratch, one single mistake, you turn around too slow, you run the wrong way, you jump the wrong fence. That is the difference between life and death. There was so much confusion out here, so much chaos. Fishdoor didn't know the difference between Zed and Survivor, Survivor and Zed. He fell to the Horde on the 6th of November, and his death was a shock.
Hey.
Hey.
I heard what happened. I can start getting ready for a funeral and get stuff set up.
time. We just gotta keep going, huh?
That's just how it is. Did you get his body so we can bury him?
Yeah, just leave him in there.
Alright. Sorry, man. He was one of the good ones. He really was.
Whose body is this?
That's Fish, man.
Wait.
I'm get his mask off him.
Fish?
I'm gonna go bury him, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but Fish was, well, he's been with us since pretty much the start. He was our fisherman. He was our farmer, our friend. He was a trooper, he was a good man, and I'm gonna miss having him around, being able to talk to him. And I hope this is a lesson to everyone that, you know, you need to look out for each other, or we're all gonna end up in the ground. This is a lesson for all of us, guys, that, you know what, our life here is valuable. There's only so many of us left, and we have to do what we can to survive. We have to play for our, you know, safety. We have to make decisions with that in mind.
Ironically, the Zeds couldn't even let us have a moment of freedom to mourn our friend. Admittedly, this death was sobering. I questioned our whole strategy, our whole purpose. I questioned whether how we were approaching this mall was the right way to approach it. I feared that the reason Fish Store fell was because I did the wrong thing. But in the apocalypse, death is inevitable. All we could do is try and prolong the time we had until it reached us. So, I reloaded my guns, sharpened my blade. I told our people that we would charge in with only our strongest fighters. I refused to let anyone else die in the face of the threat that awaited us. And instead of approaching the mall and clearing the Zeds slowly, I prepared my unit for war. We were going to charge headfirst through them and clear the Zeds from the inside out. We were going to take our small unit inside enemy lines and fight a war with hundreds, if not thousands of undead. Because if either way we approach this, we would lose bodies, then I'll be damned if I'm going to let our weakest fighters risk themselves. On the 8th of November, with our two most powerful vehicles, we charged forth into the unknown. This approach was by no means a smart one, but we had done away with logic. We charged through the hordes as we approached the bridge to the mall. I would go first with the heavier vehicle, since the lighter Jeep would be able to navigate easier away from trouble if we ran into it.
Bullbar, do your thing, Bullbar. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Now, I had asked that we take only our strongest vehicles, for reasons that were already apparent, but obviously not everyone got the memo. Inside that black ute were Mr. K and White Wolf, two tailors who were at the same time extremely valuable to our group and completely unprepared for the war ahead. But at this point, we just had to push forward. Trying to halt our plan mid-completion would be a death wish. With me was a small contingent of our strongest fighters. Valkyrie, one of our newer survivors, rode with me in the van. Behind me, driving my Jeep, was Banana Man. You know him already as one of the first to arrive from our new group. But inside the Jeep were a number of survivors who had joined us later in the piece, all with strong combat abilities. Some Guy, Charlie, and Sumo. Like I mentioned before, it's hard for me to give everyone the focus I would like to, but all you have to know is that these 5 players were all comfortable enough to confront larger threats alongside me. They were by no means invincible, but it gave us a hell of a chance of pulling this off. Ironically, by the time we got closer to the mall, we had already lost track of White Wolf and Mr. K, but we stuck to the plan. They would have to make their way back to us. We pushed as far as we could alongside the strip mall side before pulling to a stop at the gas station. The scale of this operation becoming horribly clear. This is where we would take our first stand, in the pitch black of night, being swarmed by the undead masses.
We're supposed to be on the...
Keep yourself safe, everyone. Everyone good?
Yeah, we're good.
Keeping our fighting to melee only, we managed to avoid attracting attention from any of the Zeds inside the mall car park. That allowed us a short respite to focus on whatever candy and drinks were left over in this gas station. A welcome replenishment of calories and energy before the fight continued. We decided to hold here overnight, since charging them all in darkness would pretty much be the end of us. A few minor groups of Zeds pushed towards us, but they were dealt with pretty efficiently by our strike team. Mr. K and White Wolf were still nowhere to be seen. And despite several hours passing, we hadn't heard a single call from them. There was a reason for that, because deep in the woods, after they were forced to take a detour, their black ute had met its untimely end. And I didn't know it yet, but we weren't alone in this world. And not everyone was interested in playing by the rules. As for White Wolf and Mr. K, we wouldn't see the two of them for a long time. But that is a story for down the line. Because frankly, at the time, I had other things on my mind. We looked across the road numerous times at the endless horde, but looking at it wasn't going to make this insurmountable task any easier. So we attracted groups one at a time, calling out to take out the fringe zombies, and for a while, things went to plan, until one person got sloppy.
See that, split off your group, don't go together.
I tried to help Charlie, I'm sorry.
Fuck, bro.
But now to shoot fast enough.
Just leave him. He knew the risks, okay? We came out here knowing you had to be prepared.
Maybe it was the death of my closest friend that had jaded me. But this time I didn't sit and mourn. Initially because we were just trying to survive, but as time passed and we fought more and more out here, it became clear to me. Every one of these survivors knew what they were getting themselves into. We knew that this might be a death wish, and we fought anyway. Charlie fought valiantly, and he died as one hell of a fighter, but we couldn't let his death be in vain. So we pushed forward, clear in our intentions, our minds hardened by this, our most recent death. So Banana Man, in all his soldier's wisdom, hatched a plan of his own. Combining several gadgets from the gas station, he crafted a makeshift Molotov cocktail, which at the time seemed ambitious in all the right ways. But as he raced back towards us, the plan quickly backfired.
Focus any sprinters you see. Are they even dying, man? Like, am I missing something?
Taking 1 damage. They're taking 1 damage like a second.
We're either gonna have to go loud or get in the cars right now and reposition. I think we reposition.
Cars.
Yeah, let's go.
Still, I couldn't help myself. I needed to at least see them all, gauge its defenses, maybe make a charge and hold off at the entrance. So since we saw a space in the car park, we drove in and gazed upon the true circumstances of our enemy.
It's too late, man! I'm already committed!
What's happening? My game's lagging.
Mine too! What the fuck? They're spawning around us! Go, just back out. Oh, they're spawning around us, bro. This is bad.
Oh no.
They're spawning literally around us. There's nothing we can do.
I can drive. Just if you can get somewhere slightly clear for a minute. Not that fast. No, they're definitely spawning around us.
With the scale of the Zeds now clear, we made a tough decision. We decided to flee, to return with more ammunition, more numbers. As much as I would have liked to fight, I knew that doing so would be the end of our civilization dreams. Fortunately, as a bonus, one of our group managed to snag a huge asset for our return, a giant bus that we could reinforce in much the same ways as we were able to reinforce the van and the Jeep. But our journey home was, as to be expected, equally as problematic. One of our extra cars had broken down, and that left one of our people trapped, running injured from the Zeds.
Just get up the road if you can. We're gonna have to go guns, bro. We're gonna have to go guns, or he's gonna die.
Oh my god. Oh god. Oh god. If I turn out, I die.
Dude, go for the car, go for the car, get in the car, get in the car.
Yeah, I want to grab this mask I saw.
Finally, after 7 whole days of hell outside that mall, we escaped the chaos and returned home. The upside, a single bus and a sliver of undead eliminated. The downside, we returned home, 3 survivors lost, one of which we spotted fall. We had failed again. But not all was lost, because in the coming days, I would discover the fate of at least one of our missing warriors. The snow coated our entire landscape. The temperatures were below freezing. These were the harshest conditions we'd faced, and they were going to get worse. It was by no surprise that more survivors had fled to our walls, as we welcomed our first new arrivals of the winter season, one of them in desperate need for more than just shelter.
Who are you guys?
Survivors. I don't have long. I've been bit.
You've been bit?
Yeah.
You already queasy?
Oh.
A little bit, yeah.
Listen, if I help you with this, you owe this place, okay? You've got to give back what you get.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Listen, can I trust you guys?
Yes. You got my loyalty now.
Okay, you can join us, but you've got to do your part, okay? Everyone here has to do their part.
As new survivors flocked to our compound, I spent time starting to repair the vehicles after our journey to the mall. Both the Jeep and our truck Carl had taken a heavy beating. Though with all the armor, they still managed to make it back in one piece. A testament to their strength against the undead. We welcomed a new doctor to our community from the outskirts. Having only one medical professional within our civilization, this was a welcome addition. I watched from the bar while some guy told the tale of our society. It was a fascinating interaction, to say the least.
From my limited knowledge, we have Kezza. He's, I guess, the leader here. He's one who runs this place or helps us run it. Mr. Brollow, he's the head builder. He built this beautiful room I'm in. Mr. K, he's our tailor. Well, he was. I'm not sure where he is. We lost him in a mission. I don't know if he's dead or not, though. But yeah, Cheese. He's our head chef. He runs the restaurant. Just don't go in there if he's ever awake. He's that kind of crazy about his kitchen.
Yeah, I'll avoid it.
Things have been crazy recently. I'm just very depressing. Lost a few people.
I understand.
I saw one of my friends get teared in front of my eyes. But yeah, please. We're a family here.
Yeah, thank you for taking me in.
It was easy to get lost on what we'd accomplished in the 100+ days since we arrived in this wasteland. This was a welcome reminder of the story we'd built out here. If it wasn't already apparent, the cold front had brought many from far away to our humble shores. Even more survivors arrived later in the day, who we welcomed into our walls. But one of those survivors brought news to us that would become a foreshadowing of the tales to come.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? You gonna shoot us?
Shoot somebody else.
Not unless you shoot at us.
I put your gun up, man.
You got shot at?
Shot at?
By who? Where'd you get shot at?
We're at the train depot.
Train depot?
Yeah, a little bit further north.
Outside the military checkpoint?
Yeah.
Did you see who shot at you?
Nope, he was on the roof, just shooting straight down. Didn't hang around. We just left. Scarpered.
Listen, hey, bring your car inside.
Oh, do you guys need any medical attention, or are you fine?
Now, I mentioned a while ago that we weren't alone in these lands, and this would be the first time we'd hear tales of another group in this apocalypse. We didn't really know who they were, how many of them there were, and what they wanted. But firing at our people was not a good sign. I tried the best I could to tend to the crops, but without our farmer fish store, this was beginning to look like a lost cause. Add on to that the freezing temperatures, and we were looking to be living off canned food for the near future. As I manually watered each individual plant to try and restore their strength, I spotted someone in our courtyard who wasn't a new arrival, but someone who we hadn't seen in several weeks.
I'm in unarmed. Mr. K?
That's me.
What happened to you, man?
I got lost. It took a long time to make my way back here.
I thought you might have been dead, man.
For a better future.
I almost was.
Hey, have you seen White Wolf?
I haven't. We got separated. I couldn't stay. I had to run.
Damn. Well, welcome back,
Get
man.
right back out there and find him, though. Thank you.
It's good to have you back, to be honest. We thought we'd lost one.
Not gonna lie, being here, it's a big relief.
Now, having seen the arrival of so many fresh faces, we sat and discussed all that had played out and all that was still in play. The revelation that there were some bad actors in the vicinity of our ocean home was concerning, to say the least. But as long as they kept their distance, we had to prioritize the safety of our people. We didn't intend to run headfirst into a gunfight. As our new companions grew familiar with their surroundings, however, things started to get complicated. To give a bit of important context, our entire village had a radio frequency that we shared for trips and the like. But we had a separate frequency with our key leaders, our core starting group, Banana Man, Some Guy, and White Wolf. So when I heard a different voice on our leader frequency, I already had a sinking feeling in my stomach.
Hello? Anyone on the other side?
Who is that?
I think we got something that belongs to you, Kezza. I think we got your little puppy over here.
Who the hell is this? How did you get this frequency?
Hey, White Wolf, why didn't you just bark for your boss, huh?
White Wolf?
Yeah, we got White Wolf. There's no way. He wandered a bit too far into our woods. If you want your puppy in one piece, I'd recommend you just give us what we want.
But what do you want?
Okay, listen. We need food. We need medicine, we need ammo, we need guns, alright? No funny business.
Where the hell are you then?
We know who you are. We'll send you some coordinates, okay?
Well, how do I know White Wolf's there? Put him on.
Get your ass over here.
Alright.
White Wolf?
Hey, Kezza.
Where are you, man?
That's enough. Put him back in jail. Put him back in the jail.
Suddenly, the play-by-play became clear. A couple of weeks back, when White Wolf and Mr. K went careening into a tree in the forest, they were split up by the horde. Mr. K ran the long way around and eventually made it back to us. But White Wolf ran into this group, the Bandits at the train depot. I assume they got a hold of our radio frequency from White Wolf. Now, normally, I'm not the one to cater demands, but this was White Wolf. I owed him my life. I couldn't just leave him there. Not after he had put his own life at risk to save me just a few hours after I met him. So we did what we had to do. We geared up, we packed up a small supply of food, weapons, and medicine. We loaded into the vehicles and headed on our way. I wanted to take every person we had available at the time, because walking into a bandit encampment with low numbers was a death wish. Armed to the teeth, we set out on our trek. The fact that these bandits had taken root so close to home was both a good and bad thing. It made our journey a short one, but it also meant that they lived right outside our walls. We took a right turn at the military encampment entrance to a side road before parking up our convoy.
Hey, hold it.
Wait. Yeah, these are the bandits. Hang on.
There, fellas.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
We can't go any further. Just watch. Just watch from here. Don't make a move.
Okay, park up. Just follow me. No funny business, okay?
What? Do we go secure these?
I don't know about this, Kezza. I think it might be a trap.
That boy's in there, man.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
As we made our way into the warehouse, we got a true sense of the scale of this operation. Fortunately for us, we were by no means outnumbered, but they were kitted, so starting a shootout would put all of our people at risk. That was a risk I was not willing to take. There was no point trading lives. We were here to save White Wolf. If we left with 3 others dead, then we would have failed.
Where is White Wolf?
Hey, he's in the cage back here.
You guys are caging people up? Are you serious?
You know, we gotta get a little cage for the puppy.
White Wolf, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I told you not to come. It's not worth it to put this many people in danger.
We leave no man behind, White Wolf.
We offered the bandits whatever goods we had brought with us. Certainly not enough to put us in a spot of trouble, but enough that it might satiate their demands.
That's all you're getting.
It's a lot of stuff.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Check this out, boys. Oh.
I was really hungry.
So hungry, bro.
Listen, you take that stuff, you give us our man back, and that's the end of it, okay? You stay away from our place.
Let us fill up bellies first.
Let us enjoy this food.
Now bring us our friend.
By the way, we nursed that puppy back to life. When he came to us, he was hurt, okay?
We gave him one of our cure.
Get the fuck out of here,
Over
puppy.
a bark? Come on.
Get the fuck
get
out
out
of
of
here,
here.
puppy.
You stay away from our place, okay? Go, go, go.
Hey, hey!
Go.
Go, 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 go.
Our group had taken a couple of bullet wounds, but escaped relatively unscathed. But these bandits were a problem. I hoped that they would heed our warning and stay away. Because if they didn't, this would end in war, and war would end in death. With White Wolf safe within our walls, I could finally breathe a sigh of relief, and remain focused on the winter ahead. One of the newer survivors, Camben, had taken it upon himself to make some progress on the larger drop storage area beneath the solar panels. With our civilization now nearing 30 members in total, having an area to quickly drop loot was a necessity, since our sorted storage area was already nearing capacity. And in truth, the logistical problems of a group this size were mirrored by the people problems, because remaining organized and keeping morale high were a complex equation in and of itself. As we started to lay in place the plans for a mall return, I found some guy lost in thought. It wasn't apparent at the time, but some guy amongst a few others were right next to Fish Door when he fell to the Zeds. They had failed to save him, but that loss fell heavier on their shoulders, knowing that they watched it play out and weren't able to help him.
Listen to me, you're an experienced survivor here now, okay? You need to lead the people. I know it can be scary out there, and I know we're taking risks every day, okay? But the people look to you for leadership. You're one of the people who's been here longest, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm just remembering, you know, watching two of my comrades dying.
And what did you learn? You know what? I was in a situation like Fish Store. And you know what happened to me?
What happened?
White Wolf ran in there and he pushed those zombies away from me. He risked his own life.
I'm gonna do that next time.
I'm not saying you have to risk your life, but the point I make is that you need to back your friends. You need to help people.
Yeah.
Oh, Kezza, I got something to tell you.
What's
Guess
up?
what I have in my inventory?
I was coming back from looting and I saw a black car speeding off, somebody screaming help, and these two things on the floor right here.
Yeah, you gotta be kidding me.
What was that?
Yeah.
Where? Where did this happen?
What happened? Right outside the front. I was coming back
Oh
from
my god,
just looting.
that's Dark's f***ing hazmat suit.
Are you sure it's his?
I mean, I never
They
saw
have
him
his
without
key
it.
ring.
Like, he
Yeah.
grabbed it as soon as we
Oh,
like got
shit.
together.
Everyone gear up.
Oh shit.
We're taking them back.
I let them have the benefit of the doubt once, but I would not be weak. I would not let them push us around. We prepared in droves, guns loaded, armor equipped. We drove together, our convoy fast, unanswered.
How do you want to do this?
You think you can take another one of our people like that?
As we pushed further into the compound, we heard the panicked voice of Cheddar, their leader, recognizing that he'd crossed the line.
It's gonna be okay.
Cheddar.
Oh.
These bandits weren't like us. They weren't organized. They weren't intelligent. They were chaotic. When we entered their compound, they were split up. The other two halfway across the world on a looting run. And we didn't know this. We were prepared to fight either way. But it just goes to show you that strength in the apocalypse is about organization, teamwork, and survival in numbers.
Hey! He's running! On the ground!
Hold him up, hold him up!
I told him to come with us.
Alright, well the time for fun and games is over, Cheddar.
We warned you, Cheddar. We told you to stay away. Where's your boys?
Oh, God.
Where are they?
They left me. They went on a little supply run.
Where's Doc? Is he here?
I'm sorry, guys. Doc's fine.
Yeah, they got him.
Doc's my friend.
Back inside. Doc?
We're doing what you did to our friends.
You okay?
Hey, I'm here. I'm alright. I'm safe.
What happened to you?
Got nabbed. Probably my fault for, so you know, accepting lifts from strangers. He said to me that there was some carpentry stuff that I could do over here to practice on.
With this place left now unguarded, we took everything we could find. Both the supplies we had given them earlier, but also all their guns and armor that they had stored. As for Cheddar, we had a decision to make. We couldn't leave him out here to act against us again. And honestly, he was clearly a psycho. Whatever this guy had been through had twisted his mind. I wasn't sure whether to feel angry at him or to feel sorry for him.
Why don't you take a seat right there on all those rip sheets?
All right, listen, people. I gave you a chance. I told him that the people would decide what to do with him.
Give him a chance, at least.
Why should we, Banana? Why should we give this man a chance when he literally kidnapped 2 of our people and threatened to kill us?
We're not better than them if we decide to kill him. I mean, do you want to be like them?
You want to play with fire?
I'd rather do that than become animals.
Everyone who has walked through those gates has been welcomed. But listen to me, Cheddar. You take only what you need and you give back what you take. You've almost taken 2 lives from us. You owe us a debt.
I'm sorry, guys. It was only to enrich my own community, and I apologize, okay?
One mistake, and you're out. We're sending you out into the cold winter. Peaches?
Yes, sir.
I'm entrusting Cheddar to you. You keep him in line.
Oh, I'll look after him.
I recognize at times I have been misguided. I recognize that this may have been a poor decision, but I wasn't going to murder someone. I wasn't going to become what others might be out there. And in all honesty, they could have killed White Wolf, but they didn't. So I was in 2 minds about the whole thing. For now, I left him under the guidance of Peaches. If I ever fell to the Horde, Peaches might well have to take over this place. Having come from never stepping foot in Project Zomboid to now being my second in command, it had been one hell of a journey for him. I saw this as an opportunity for him to show his leadership. And it allowed me to direct my eyes back to the mammoth task ahead. Because with all this business behind us, we could now focus on what we had once left behind. The mall.
This red truck I found in West Point is
Fortunately, with the weather so cold and horrid, some of the Zeds in this area had either migrated or fell to the freezing temperatures, which made confronting the challenge of the mall again a little bit more digestible. But those weather effects were equally problematic for us. We had to make sure that while we attempted to purge these roads again, we also had people at base working to maintain our food stocks and water supplies. And with an extra 10 survivors now in our company, that was possible. Over the next week, we carved our way forward, clearing section after section of the highway. There were plenty of breaks and plenty of moments that got a little bit cagey, but we persevered in this cruel weather, supporting each other and returning home for more supplies as needed. And on the 25th of November, we finally breached the outer area of the mall, driving into the strip mall and beginning to clear the Zeds nearby. This was by no means any easier than it had been previously, but over the last month since our last attempt, our numbers had grown and our people had gathered more experience, which made this once insurmountable task at least possible. This time, we didn't attempt to use any grandiose techniques like Molotovs. We just slowly worked our way inwards, clearing group after group together as a unit. When the night came, we'd hole up in the strip mall stores and push forward in limited amounts, since taking on large groups in darkness was extremely risky. Those of us who were experienced would take the lead in the early morning, pushing closer and closer into a section of shops across from the mall and the theater, using the early morning light as a guide and car headlights as an added bonus. But this task was long, tumultuous, exhausting at best. After over a day fighting the Zeds, we were forced to return home for more food and supplies. I equipped some of the strongest fighters with our best melee weapons, garden scythes, rust cutters, some that I had put aside a long time ago. Finally, on the 27th, a couple of days later, we pushed back to our strip mall area with a lot more supplies in tow. And after months of attempting to safely breach this car park, late at night, we finally made our way into the first stores within.
That's the idea. Grab some food, grab some candy. They're gonna break through this door in a second.
Oh yeah, it sounds like there's a few. Careful for sprinters. Yeah, don't. There's a lot on the other side. We don't want to bring them all.
Hey, I was expecting sprinters.
Run.
Shotgun. Oh, okay, never mind. Just don't die.
Run.
Get out.
Okay.
That whole place is a choke point.
After a brief panic, we reclaimed the market and looted the leftover confectionery and drinks. This was a big help in keeping our calories up and our bodies sustained as we pushed further in. And pushing forward was the plan. The more area we could claim, the more we could traverse, with the ultimate goal being the entrance of the mall. This approach of moving in stages was definitely working out a lot better for us than last time. I'm sure it was a combination of many factors, but I didn't concern myself with the specifics. We just kept trudging forward. After we had cleared the bakery on the corner, it was time to push through the open car park. But in all honesty, this wasn't the hardest part of our journey, because our work consistently clearing the buildings and any Zeds that approached had for the most part cleared a large section of the undead from the mall side. As we pushed through the cold fog in negative 13 degrees Celsius weather, we edged closer and closer to our goal. We could see it in the distance, the doors we seeked to cross. And after a few more hours, we finally breached the entrance of the mall. Now, it's important to remember a couple of things. First, we expected that most of the undead issues were going to be on the outside of this mall. It didn't mean that we wouldn't have to deal with any inside, but we suspected all the ruckus we'd have caused outside to have drawn the attention of most of the excess undead out towards us. And secondly, our goal wasn't really to loot this mall. In fact, in terms of loot, this mall was significantly overshadowed by its neighbor in Louisville, the Grand Ohio Mall. The main goal was to leave a sign on the roof of this building. Because of its clear surroundings and the height, we knew that if there was any air support out there or running through, this would be the best place to leave a message. And the way it was going, we had accepted that if the storm got any worse, surviving in this part of the world might well be impossible. As we pushed forth into the deeper sections of the mall, we began to loot anything that we could find. There were certainly a few things we were able to uncover. Plenty of extra candy for calories, a few clothes stores, some hardware, nothing game-changing, but it all came in handy. To be honest, at the time, I was just happy it was over. But together, we had reclaimed this mall with our ragtag group of survivors. Even Cheddar, who was for all intents and purposes a homeless bandit, did his part. Peaches had done an incredible job of turning that bandit into an asset. It was things like that that restored my faith in the survivors out there. We had all been through a lot, but there was hope for a better future, whatever it took. With the mall and its surroundings secured, we were able to pillage the car park for any vehicles that we thought might come in handy. Though there was nothing groundbreaking, there was some new trucks and vans that would be useful. If not long term, then certainly for parts. So on the 1st of December, we begun the trek home, full of confidence. We thought back to our friends who had fallen on the way. Fish Store and Charlie. I'm not even sure now if it was worth it. Personally, I don't think it was, but we couldn't take back our past. All we could do was look to the future. And those two lives were the reason that we were able to leave our message. SOS. 150 Hertz. Survivors. In the weeks since we left our message, the weather grew colder and more chaotic. If it continued down this path, I feared a great storm was on the horizon. But escape by road was near impossible, since the roads were so insanely congested. And escape by air, well, that was why we left the message. But we hadn't heard anything yet. We saw the proverbial dark clouds on the horizon. Right now, we had no choice. We'd turn the ship into a home for our civilization. We'd do whatever we could to prepare for the storm ahead, and then hold out hope that we could find a way to survive. We took some time to refill our fuel stocks. Gas would be essential for generators, heaters, and the like. We began to delegate jobs to our survivors. In particular, we had a few key goals for the next few weeks to prepare. Firstly, this base needed some serious upgrades. And with all these people, we needed more areas for storage, more areas for living, areas for trade and commerce. Everything that would make our civilization the true destination for anyone left. So our carpenters and builders set forth on building upgrades to our area, new spaces and the like. Secondly, we need to focus on preparing our food stocks for a long storm. In particular, looting any nearby supermarkets that were within reach. We had one in mind, but we'll get to that a little later. And thirdly, our ammunition and gun stores needed a boost. Since we'd used a fair bit in the multiple attempts to take the mall, we were starting to run a little low. But for that, I had just the thing in mind. See, a long time ago, during a discussion with one of our first survivors, I had heard rumors of something hidden within the nearby forest.
Oh, sorry. While me and Sumo were on the way in, we found a crashed plane that had a whole bunch of ammo in it.
I had hoped that it had remained unlooted, so I took 3 of our most experienced survivors and headed over to investigate.
This is gonna be like a kind of like the car might slow down too much, and I'll call it pretty quickly to hop out if we need to.
Okay. There's water again.
Oh god.
Yeah, let's hop out and clear. I have no idea why I'm so slow.
Oh Jesus.
Guns if you need.
Oh god. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. A lot of them coming from east.
This was by no means an easy task, but it was certainly a worthwhile one. Not only was this downed plane filled to the brim with cases upon cases of ammunition, but clearing out this area of all those Zeds meant that we now had free range to take down some of the nearby trees for timber, which would come in handy for our base expansions back home. So that is exactly what we did. We worked together to chop down trees, rope up the logs, and load them into the trailer. When we'd filled all the way to the brim, we returned home and began to unload. And as we began to sort through our haul, I passed by a conversation between my second in command Peaches and our newest recruit, the unpredictable bandit Cheddar.
I'm taking you under my wing, okay? I'm going to show you that there's not a terrible destructive path out there in the zombie apocalypse. There's ways to succeed with friends and good people.
Peaches, they're not my friends. They're talking behind my back,
Look.
Peaches.
Okay, look. Let me tell you this. The past is the past. We're going to move forward, okay? We're not going to think about what happened before. We're not going to think about the hostages and the kidnappings and all the things, okay? We're going to think about what we're going to create together as friends. And no one's going to talk about you behind their back because friends don't do that.
Ah, Peaches, you're a real friend. Just watching you reminds me of my old gang, okay?
We're not doing anything by ourselves.
Okay, I hear you, Peaches. You're right.
This was a show of the leadership potential in Peaches, and it was working out as I'd hoped. But we had forgotten about the fact that Cheddar wasn't alone out there. He had people working alongside him, one of which had a fate that intertwined with ours in the very near future.
I bring some news from just outside.
News?
Yeah, I went out after the little touching ceremony between Cheddar and Peaches. I went to go and find them a friendship bracelet, just a little thing. And spotted what looked like essentially looked like a homeless guy living just in the building outside the gate.
What?
He's hungry enough to be down in vegetable oil. That was the only thing I had on him.
I guess we can go out and pick him up.
Quite strange.
Yeah, I didn't want to come on too strong just in case.
Let me grab some food real quick.
I'd kind of alluded to it already. What we thought at the time was a random homeless person was actually someone we do, though I didn't know it just yet. But it's important for the context of what we were about to do. In all honesty, I didn't feel guilty for these people. They still acted in a way I wouldn't have acted, but we've said it since day one. We had a responsibility for every survivor, regardless of their past.
Yeah, right here, in this building. He was a little skittish, so maybe we don't go in full force.
I think he's upstairs.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
what do you want?
We heard you needed some food.
Maybe.
You living out here, man?
Trying to make a living.
And we have a nice place nearby. You're welcome to come and stay with us if you want. Oh. I know that face. I've seen that face before. You were in Cheddar's warehouse, huh?
Cheddar? Have you seen him?
He's living with us.
What? What are you talking about?
Listen, we're all working together here, okay? The enemy is the undead, not us.
If your friend's telling the truth about the food, I might be inclined. I think I could get there on my own.
We had offered an olive branch, and the only reason we had done so was because after spending more time around Cheddar and understanding that he wasn't necessarily a monster, he was just clinically insane and desperate, we felt like these people could do more for us than against us. It didn't mean we weren't careful, but we had learnt before that any extra pairs of hands would make a hell of a difference out here. I took the time after our discussion to catch up with Peaches. It had been a while since the two of us had talked one-on-one, and I wanted to make sure that he was ready if I wasn't around anymore.
I need you to understand, if I go down out there, You gotta take over this ship, okay? You're the captain.
Kezza, you know that I don't have the hours for that.
Look at what you've done, Peaches. Look at what you've accomplished out here. Remember, right at the beginning, you were one of the only 4 people here. You don't need to be experienced to be able to lead people.
You know, Kezza, I'll do this. I'll do this because you have faith in me, and I have faith in myself. However, you're not going anywhere, big man. We got a long journey ahead of us.
I ain't going anywhere. Let's get some shit done.
With my personnel reassured and my own mind at ease, we started to weigh up possible solutions to this horrid winter. Knowing that farming was going to be limited and fish weren't prosperous either during this season, we suspected that canned food might be the best way to hold down the fort as the storm passed over. Fortunately, one of the newest survivors, Dark, had lived in Louisville before this whole apocalypse came out, and I was hoping his knowledge of the area might come in handy.
I've been told you know your way around Louisville pretty well, is that right?
Yeah, you could say that. Resident about last 10 years.
The priority is we're gonna hit the biggest things that we can so that our runs are worth it.
Amazon warehouse. It's a depot, a shipping depot. It has loads, like stocked to the rafters.
So hitting the Amazon warehouse, as he called it, was one possible plan. But in reviewing our maps over the next few hours, we also came up with an alternative plan that might be a little bit closer. But before we could get to that, we heard a knock on our gates from a familiar face.
About to head out on a trip.
It's pretty cold out here.
Listen, if I let you in these walls, you need to do your part, okay?
I don't know what you're doing to Cheddar in there, but I gotta find out. Oh my god, you look horrible.
Oh my god, you look great.
Wait, that's normal.
You look the same.
A lot of people here are struggling to trust you guys, obviously, after what's happened, especially White Wolf. I have to be honest, I'm a little hesitant to let you in here, even though, you know, we could use the extra set of hands.
I mean, I do feel kind of bad about putting him in a cage.
Listen, if you want to stay here, I need you to iron things out with White Wolf. I'm gonna leave it up to him whether you're allowed here or not, okay? Prove you can do that, you can come out with us.
Okay then.
I had left the decision whether Mythos would stay or not up to White Wolf, because we had other concerns in our mind. And he would eventually decide to let Mythos stay, but we couldn't get distracted from our goal of acquiring more food and resources before the storm got worse. There was one thing we hadn't thought of, because over the last 150 days, we had ripped apart this shipping yard to its core, looting every warehouse, every building, every storage container, well, almost every storage container. For some reason, in these hundreds and hundreds of hours surviving, we had ignored this giant black rectangle. And that giant rectangle was actually an assortment of shipping containers. Not once in all these days had I thought to pop the wall open, until Dark had mentioned shipping containers and my mind suddenly clicked. So armed with a sledgehammer, I began to destroy the boundaries. This was like a mystery box opening in the apocalypse. One that would lead to some incredible discoveries.
Sure. Yeah, you want some fridges? Oh my god, they have stuff in them!
Okay.
Yeah, how about some more desks?
Like bars of gold.
You want some chairs?
Like an urban...
Oh shit, hold on. There's crates in here.
Ooh.
I'm smelling loot.
With loot in them.
Oh my god.
Oh, those are milli crates.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Holy
this was
shit.
Here all along?
Oh my god.
We were sitting with the gold the whole time, bro.
Oh my god.
This was the mother lode. We called for all hands on deck. Our entire group of awake survivors funneled inside these walls, filling trolley after trolley with ammunition, weaponry, medical supplies. With every new crate we opened, we unveiled a new surprise. In one of the back crates, we even found a collection of movie memorabilia. The experience had a reverberating effect on our civilization. The joy and the fortune of this discovery left ripples of positive energy through every survivor we had. The process of unloading these crates took literal days as we scaled to the higher levels and uncovered more and more valuables. And after hours and hours of shifting loot, our path forward became abundantly clear. With the need for several resources eliminated, our most pressing desire was for food. So instead of heading for the Amazon warehouse we mentioned earlier, we opted for a closer, more reasonable goal. Well, we thought it was reasonable at least. A few kilometers down the road, just opposite the baseball field, was another Gigamart, just like the one we'd looted in West Point. And together, with our forces now rearmed with more ammunition, we would set off down the road and take all that it had to give. As As we set forth on the run to the supermarket, we didn't anticipate what awaited us. This road had barely been touched in our entire time surviving out here. This was no easy looting run.
It's rough. Just go through, you might have to go through a bit faster. Yeah, just build up some speed.
Oh, damn.
Oh, brother.
Come on, baby. You see it? I think I was looking for a fucking insurance claim. Here.
Fuck.
Fuck. Come on, baby. You got this. Might have to.
Don't panic, don't panic.
You know what?
You need to go to the left here. Can't go through them.
Oh. You meant like through the
There
tree?
we go again. Ooh. I don't know if we'll pick up enough speed. Oh, we're good, we're good.
Yeah, that's why I try to stay on the road.
Yeah. This is it, turn right, turn
Just
right.
banging on the side.
Turn right. Oh my hold on. That's it. That is it.
After a tumultuous battle through the highway road, we reached our destination. But that was only half the challenge, because now we had to clear this place, and things got extremely cagey.
Watch the gunshots. We're in the car park in front of the shop.
Too many, there's too many.
Just work our way back around White Wolf.
Get over here to the building. To the building.
Up here. Come with White Wolf down here, back towards.
They're getting drawn, they're getting drawn.
You're close, you're close. Just keep coming around. Back.
After a battle against the undead that challenged even the most war-hardened of us, we had claimed victory. Between the group of 6 of us, we set forth on our goal of draining this place dry, looting cans, seasonings, cereals, an abundance of non-perishable supplies. We made quick work of this. We had brought trolleys, trailers, everything needed to make this run a quick one. But something about having done all this work to clear the area inspired our spirits. We had free access to just about everything nearby, and a few blocks over was a warehouse filled with countless resources to continue constructing our base. So since we were all in good health from a war well fought, we pushed forward into the open areas. Amidst the coal fog at 11 in the morning, we entered an open car park where we found several extremely useful additions to our carsenal, patent still pending. A new Jeep, much like the one I'd armored previously, and large heavy vehicles to cut more resources. But the journey from here to the warehouse was not a straight shot. With our skills from taking on the mall in play, we baited group by group, eliminating sections of the larger horde as we unlocked more space to move into. The key to taking on the undead like this was to know your limits and work in sections. Trying to fight a horde as one pack was certain death, like we had learnt with our fallen friend Fishstore. So we would split up, draw forth a line of our own and pick them off bit by bit. We were showing traits of true survivors, comfortable in our execution of the, well, executions. As darkness fell, we worked our way down the road. Though it was completely shrouded in snow, so we weren't really sure where the road started and stopped. As we made our way past the leftover Zeds, I found myself in an additional grocery store. After disposing of the Zeds within, I feasted on any leftover confectionery to fill up my calories once again. These short rest stops kept us sustained and focused on the next steps. We traversed further up the road. This area was slightly less congested, but certainly still required some clearing. This courtyard gave us access to the gas station, and around the corner from here was the warehouse. My companions were looting the areas behind me, so I was the first to arrive at the warehouse. Clearing through the Zeds there on my lonesome was a chilling reminder of my first days on this adventure. But by the time I began to unload the warehouse's contents, the survivors with me arrived, assisting in the process. After spending a few hours clearing this place out, our trailers, trucks, pretty much every form of storage we had was chock full of food and resources. This run was a resounding success. It wasn't without its challenges, but our teamwork was on show from start to finish. At the time, we were just pleased to be returning home. But I know now that this looting run we shared would be the last looting run we would ever go on together. So now it's a little bittersweet. As we drew closer to our final days, I spent time amongst my people, reminiscing, looking forward, engaging in the civilization I had built.
Fucking long day.
Fatten yourself up a little bit.
Oh yeah, thanks, man.
I'm almost not underweight anymore.
Yeah, the food thing has been real.
But it's still getting worse, man.
So, what are we gonna do after, you know, this? I mean...
We build this place up. We try and survive the winter.
Yeah, but are we just here to survive, or are we gonna live, you know?
I don't know if this place will ever get better, Peaches. I don't know if the weather here will ever improve. It's like I've never seen it. It just gets colder and colder every night.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. This has been a hell of a day.
I have to see what tomorrow brings, man. All we can do is prepare. We build up, we hold off whatever comes, and then we try and survive. And if we can't, then I don't know. We're privileged, Peaches. We're privileged that we can be like this, that we can have fun, that we can laugh.
Yeah, it's not every day. I'm gonna go check on Cheddar, you know. I heard he's been doing some stuff, but let's get ready for tomorrow, buddy.
There's a thermos full of soup for you there.
I need you to do something for me, Doc.
Okay.
I need you to go downstairs. To the left of the metal cabinets, there's a sink.
Okay, sink, got it.
I need you to clean that suit.
What?
I need you to take off that hazmat suit, and I need you to clean it.
Take it off? I've not seen what I look like under this for months.
This is a civilization, Doc. You can't wear that thing in here like that. It's time to let go.
Alright. Okay. If everyone else can hang out here, I can do it the same. Alright. Do we have any towels?
Yeah, there's some right here, man. They're resting by the fire. They're nice and warm.
If it wasn't apparent, there were many curious interactions aboard this ship. But these conversations prospered because of the place we'd built together. Amongst the plethora of food stores and hardware, we finally breathed a sigh of relief.
Hey, whoa, you can't just come into people's base like this. Who the hell
Yeah,
are you?
who is that?
It's me!
Who the fuck is that?
Me.
Hell is this?
Who are you?
Wow.
This is what I look like, alright?
Is that Doc?
That's Doc.
Yeah, that's
It's me, it's me.
Yes, the weather was horrid, the temperatures chilling to our core, but we knew that we were alive, that we were together. Our people were united in one cause, and our walls had not been breached by the undead for what was nearing 100 days. This was the safest civilization in the apocalypse. This was the civilization we had intended to build. Over the next days, our civilization began to truly thrive. I sorted out the countless piles of loot we'd acquired from our various adventures. And of all people here, the one who assisted me was Cheddar, who was truly reformed. He had become a valued member of our community. From where he'd began his association with us to here, it was really something. In the time we were looting and unloading, sorting and storing, our ship had a number of expansions. While Brollow was out on a long looting run, Dark had been working on building our town hall into a wondrous tower. Tall enough that we could look out over the shipping port and the seas. It still needed some furnishing work, but it was well on its way to being a magnificent piece of architecture. I helped out as much as I could, unloading planks and building roofs alongside him. On the deck, we built structures for homes and stores. While our people worked on expanding our homes, I worked on one last pièce de résistance, this bus which we'd acquired long ago in the mall. First, I fixed up its essentials, repairing the panels, the wheels, the seats, the engine, bringing everything up to a nice standard. Then I attached the roof racks, shielding on the windows and doors, protection on the hood, and more impressive than all of those things, I installed a front bumper to rival even the thickest of hordes, sporting steel spikes and wheel protection all in one. With all the materials we'd acquired on our last trip at the warehouse, and the skills I'd built along the last 150 days, this was light work. I didn't even need to go out and search for the resources required. I just funneled through my garage storage and made it happen. And on the 21st of December, I showed off my creation to the world, pulling it out into our compound.
Thing is ready for war, man. How much did it cost with steel to make this bumper and stuff?
Way too much.
In the evening, I ventured onto the deck, as Camden showed me around his work on the interiors of our new stores and homes.
Go ahead and go behind the counter right there, maybe get some food, some gas, some little treats, some little candy. For the second one, this is like a hunting store, like army surplus. You can get military gear in there, or ammunition, guns. Now this is going to be Cheddar's hairdressing store.
And even in this horrid cold weather, 20 degrees below zero, I started to see a future. In fact, it hadn't even crossed my mind at this point, but it was almost Christmas. We were only a few days away from it, so maybe it was juvenile of me, but I started to spread the word of a coming together. Everyone from our civilization, our community, to celebrate Christmas together. To try and remember the joys we once had. We'd have a feast and share memories from before all of this began. We'd look towards the future. We'd wish for hope to return to our people. We'd relish what little joy there was to be had at the end of the world.
We'll get it in the
With my plan and focus, I visited Cheese in the kitchen to ask for his aid in preparing a great feast for our people.
I'm gonna need a big feast prepared for Christmas. You think you can do that?
Yeah, I can prepare a feast. Yeah, easy peasy.
It's gonna need to be a big feast, so food, drink, whatever you can prepare.
I've got it.
So with our plan underway, I started to tie up some loose ends for our civilization. These wooden walls that surrounded our compound weren't exactly the most durable. Instead, I called on the aid of a few of our craftsmen, Banana Man and Dark with them, to replace our outer walls with metal panels. In order to clean up the compound, I also cleared as many of the cars as possible out, moving them either inside the garage or outside of our compound altogether and into the empty streets. Clutter was in many ways impacting the morale of our people. Maybe it was a slight exaggeration, but it was certainly the case that the little things mattered in bringing our spirits up in this cold, cold winter. At the time, I noticed Cheddar, our converted bandit, looking lost in our town hall. And since he'd previously helped prepare a few meals, I assigned him a new job.
I gotta take you to meet your boss?
You are my boss.
No, you got another boss. Come on, Cheddar, let's go. Hey, Mr. Brollow, what's up?
Oh, I'm good.
Cheese.
Why is there burnt soup in here?
Your sous chef is ready for duty.
Oh, finally. Hey there.
Cheddar,
Hey there,
meet
buddy.
Cheese.
Oh, no!
That's your boss, Cheddar. You're the sous chef now.
So, yes, sir. What do you need me to do right now?
At the time, this seemed like a win-win. It would give Cheddar something to focus on, and it would give Cheese the helping hand he needed to get the feast prepared. But it quickly became clear that between the two of them, they sorely lacked leadership.
Whoa.
No, I'll contribute, but I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. Okay?
Yeah, man, I thought you were gonna have my back, dude. I thought you were gonna help me make this dinner feast. I thought your name was gonna be branded under it with me.
Thankfully, I had one of our veteran survivors and best leaders available to lend a helping hand.
Listen up, enough bickering, okay? We're a team here. I know how to fix this problem. Clearly, there's a dispute over who should be the head chef in the kitchen, but I think it's clear you guys can't be trusted in here with one another. So we need a new head chef. Mr. Brollow, could you come in here, please? A lot of people would know Mr. Brollow has literally no experience in cooking, but what he does have experience in is leadership. Mr. Brollow will now be overseeing both of you in the kitchen.
Damn
What?
it!
What do you mean?
So what you're saying is that Cheese has been demoted and I've been promoted?
That's correct. Congratulations, head chef.
This is ridiculous.
You guys are
What do you
in
mean?
for it now.
What do you mean?
Cheese,
This is ridiculous.
I need a drink.
Yep.
Right up, I need a
Let's
drink
figure this
stat.
out.
Maybe it was stupid of me, but having these problems, instead of problems of life and death, it was a welcome change. I relished the privilege of only having to care for bickering and personal disputes. In this hellish wasteland, I felt lucky to be free of the burdens of the outside, where the undead festered and destroyed all in their way. And despite all that bickering, on Christmas Day, I looked ahead at a clean compound and called upon our people to gather in the town hall. Everything was turning out as magical as I'd hoped. The spirits were high. Our two chefs, led by Mr. Brollow, made their way into the town hall with a feast fit for a civilization. The people cheered and expressed their joy. The sun set in the distance. And on Christmas, our civilization danced and sang. I watched, proud of what we had created. What we had forged from just an abandoned ship in a shipping yard. We had created a community, a family of survivors. I wasn't surrounded by random people, I was surrounded by brothers and sisters who I'd fought alongside on many occasions. Truly, this was the moment of happiness that I wish I had enjoyed even more, had I known that it would be the last moment like this. The last time we would all gather together. The last time our civilization would prosper. But I didn't realize that this was just the calm before the storm. The day after Christmas, our worst fears were realized. We were struck by a storm beyond anything we imagined, but a single voice on the radio spelled hope.
Whoever is on this frequency, we saw the message on the roof.
You've got a hurricane coming your way. Nothing is gonna live out there.
Hello? Wait, can you hear me?
You need a better signal. We cannot hear what you're saying. If you manage to get a signal up within the next 20 minutes, we'll be able to pick you up.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear us, but we'll try. All at once, it was everything I had hoped for and everything I had feared. A hurricane on a warpath that led straight through our ship. Our civilization was destined for ruin. But there was still hope. For the people here, there was still hope that our civilization could rebuild elsewhere, if we could escape from this place together. But right now, our only chance of that was getting a strong enough signal to call for aid, for evacuation. And our best chance for that was the very place we had spent so much of our journey, the mall. We gotta get there in 20 minutes. Load up inside. All the cars out here. Said a hurricane's coming through and that they're able to evacuate people, but I can't get through to them. I can't get a signal.
Did they say anything else?
All they said, man. They said they need a better signal. They can't hear me.
How do we know it's not a trap?
What's our options? You want to stay up here in a hurricane, Brollow?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. This is our boat. You know, we've made this into a fortress.
Yeah, but we have a job to do, Brollow. We have to take care of our people, man.
The weather's getting very bad, Kezza.
We just don't have time. We have to go.
All right, let me go. This Jeep has been through a lot, man. Holy.
I'm surprised we still have this thing.
This thing has been an absolute machine. Pull up, park up. It was thanks to our tireless work prior that this trip to the mall was even possible. The lives lost in our quest to clear it, and the hours spent forging forwards. We brought everyone. It was safety in numbers, and as we scaled the staircase, we took out any zombies that stood in our way. I climbed to the roof and connected my radio to the emergency frequency.
Come again? We're receiving.
Listen, we have a whole group of survivors. There's like 20 of us. We're on the coast, okay? Just west of here. I can send coordinates. Can you pick us up?
Yes, we can.
We need 10 minutes to get back. We'll meet you there. I'll send you the coordinates, okay?
Okay, 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. They're gonna evac. We need to get home. We were on the clock. We had to return home in time for our evacuation. But as with our entire journey up to this point, not all things go to plan.
We're planning to get out of here. We gotta take as many people as we can. There's some more survivors. I can go get them.
We'll take the bus then. Brollow, you gotta get back. We don't have a lot of time, okay?
I know, but I can't leave people behind, man.
No, I get you. I'll wait for you, okay?
Okay, I'll meet you back at the ship, okay?
Okay, take the bus. Brollow had received a distress call from a group of survivors who hadn't made it to our walls. And in the path of the hurricane, their survival was all but impossible without our aid. Brollow was determined to help them, and I couldn't fault his determination. So those of us who were at the mall headed home, in the hope that Brollow could take the long round trip and arrive home in time for evacuation. This journey was arduous. Trying to move quickly with this many cars, in this hurricane, on several occasions we were forced to leave our cars behind and fight the undead to clear a path. But after a long haul, we had returned. I advised our people to gather as many resources as they could hold, and we made our way to the landing zone. But as the helicopters landed and our people loaded in, it became increasingly clear to me that Brollow hadn't returned yet. I wasn't sure yet if he was even still alive.
We have a situation here.
Well, what is it?
We lost the bus. There's a massive horde coming. It's behind me. I managed to get away, but the survivor, he didn't make it.
Where's Brollow?
He's not gonna make it back in time.
You said Brollow was gonna make it.
I know, man. Listen, I can't leave him here. You need to take the people and go. We're ready to lead these people, man.
Okay.
Don't worry about us, man. Just go.
But I'm ready, but we're gonna come find you.
It's been an honor, man. Every second.
Man, this is not looking good, Kezza. There's a lot of them.
Brollow, we got our people out, man. That's all we had to do.
This is the biggest horde I've ever seen, Kezza.
It is in the nature of the apocalypse that nothing lasts forever. Maybe we were in denial of that. Maybe we just wanted to enjoy this life while it lasted. And for a moment, maybe it wasn't for long, but for a moment, we truly did have the safest civilization in this apocalypse. Our people prospered, shared drinks, food, sang and danced together, celebrated the life we had left. Our civilization was a collection of stories shared between us. The story of all these survivors, alive and lost. And my story. My story wasn't the story of a survivor who left behind a friend, who ensured survival no matter the cost. My story was the story of a captain who felt the burden of each loss as if it was his own. A captain who would go down with his ship if that's what it took. So if my story ends here, then I'd say it was a damn good one.
I think this is it for us, Brollow.
Looking like it. I'm honored I died by your side, Kezza.
Me too, Brollow.
I helped you build this place. I'll go down with this place.
We did what we set out to do, huh?
We sure did. We sure did.
For those of you who have made it to the end of this journey, thank you. I hope you enjoyed. This was a project that took me months to put together. The recording alone was hundreds of hours of footage. The editing took me another 100 hours. A special thank you to Dark Moriarty and Undead Captures for bringing my vision to life. I hope that my love for this project and this game comes through in my work. For me, this was a passion project, and I'm very grateful for all of you for giving me this platform to make things like this. I also want to thank the massive amount of people that contributed who you're seeing on the screen now. So much content got left on the cutting room floor, and I wish I could keep everything. Please, to those who haven't already, support me by subscribing and joining my Discord. I don't know what the future holds and what story comes next, but I'm excited to find out, hopefully, with all of you alongside me. See you guys in the next one.